Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share with you some improvements I've made to my packing techniques for keeping items from shifting. Originally, when we bought this RV, this is camping season 3 for us in this RV. When we first bought this RV, I came up with some ideas based on videos I watched and what other people were using, and I thought that was it. That was going to be how I was going to store my items on travel days. But then as time went on, there were little things that I just didn't like about them, and I'm going to share those with you today, as well as my solutions, what my current method is for keeping things from shifting during travel. So something that I got in the very beginning, and I did use these quite a bit, are these extendable pressurized drawer dividers. The way that I use these was specifically in the refrigerator. I would put my items on the shelf and then put this at the end of the shelf and lock it in place. And the idea being that it would keep things from sliding off the shelf during travel. It worked okay, but there were times like when everything was jostling around in there and right up against the edge of this. There were even a few times when this would be bowed dramatically outward, like it was waiting to dump everything on me whenever I opened the door to the fridge. So I found a better way of storing my items in the fridge for travel days, and it also helps keep the refrigerator organized when we're at the campground. Whether it's just the two of us or we have the grandkids with us, it's very easy to know where everything goes. So let's have a look at that. So let's take a second and talk about these plastic bins. I have purchased a lot of these. I use them in our house too. I use them in the drawers in the RV, in cupboards, in the refrigerator, in the medicine cabinet, in the bathroom area, under the sink in the bathroom area for all my cleaning products, under the sink out here. I use them everywhere. They're a great way to keep everything contained so that when you're driving down the road, you don't have things bouncing all over the place and then open the door and find that everything that you put in there nice and neat is now in a jumbled mess. I highly recommend something like this to help you keep your items in place. So let's take a look at all of the areas that I use these so you can see how I have put them to use in here and how they're keeping everything organized for me. One other thing I want to show you, this was they have these on Amazon, but I think I might have purchased these at Sam's Club. I'm still unpacking them. There were so many in the pack that I did not use them all. So these kind of bothered me at first because they have this round end and this recessed bottom, and it just, I'm like, what a waste of space, because you push this up against a wall or something and you've got those gaps there. But there's actually a good reason why they're shaped like this. These can be stacked, which is kind of cool. So the way that you stack them is the rounded end. When you put the one on top, you want to use the recessed end, and there are little, I know you're not going to be able to see this in the video, at least I don't think you will, but there are little notches here that actually go down over the lip of this and keep it in place. So they fit together. Watch me not be able to do this. Oh, nope, there we go. So they fit together and stack perfectly, and they don't, like, you can kind of shake it. They're not tight together. They don't snap together, but they're seated pretty well together. And where I use these when I'm stacking them is in my storage cabinet here. If I'm taking these along, I will stack this one along with the one that has the curtain rods in it. Specifically, when we stop, I take all of those curtain rods out of the cupboards and put them in one of these so that they're not bouncing all over the kitchen every time somebody takes something out of the cupboard. So these are cool. At first were not my favorite, but they are growing on me. So in the fridge, this is pretty typical of what you'll see whenever we go camping. I will have several of those plastic bins in here, and then different items in the bins based upon whatever it is we're taking along with us. Something like a great tip is a bigger one, like this one in the center on top. If you're taking meat with you, don't want to risk your meat leaking all over the place. I usually just put some paper towels in the bottom of that and fill it up with whatever we're taking with us, steaks, meat for hamburgers, whatever, and have never had an issue with meat leaking in our camper's refrigerator. We also have one that is specific for eggs, as you can see there, one that's specific for canned items. And like I said, these are just a great way to keep everything contained in your refrigerator, because when the door's shut, it keeps those containers in place. So we don't have any issues at all with anything falling out when we open the door when we get to the campground. This is a great example of how I'm using those clear bins as well. I keep all of our toiletry items within our medicine cabinet inside those bins. And then when we get to our destination, I will unpack them, put them in the shower, on the counter, wherever. But this is a great way to keep everything contained on travel days. And this cabinet looks like a hot mess, but you can see the bin works. This is a little different than the clear ones that I use throughout the RV. This one in particular, I got at Walmart, and I also love these. They come in different widths, different sizes, and they have handles on them. This is really easy at the end of the camping season to just carry that entire tote in with all of the cleaning supplies in it instead of making multiple trips. So this is probably one of the most innovative ways that I use these plastic bins. These in particular, I got them so that they fit in my drawer frames and just sit on top there. It's just another way to add an additional layer of storage to the drawer and give you more space, and also make it easier to be able to find those items. And I also have the same setup in our junk drawer. I have 2 layers of these, one on the bottom and then these on the top that just sit on the edge of the drawer, and they work great. Now this is an item that I still use. What I do with these is the cabinets in the kitchen, specifically the ones that are overhead, the ones that are over by our entertainment center area, if you will, the area that has our TV and stuff like that. And then also in the bathroom, in the medicine cabinet, I use these. And what I'll do is, once everything's packed into place, just put this at the front of the cabinet in the door frame, just as a protective measure. So the first person that opens that cabinet does not get a face full of whatever is about to come out. This is one cabinet that I definitely want to use these curtain rods in, and the way I use them, this is my spice cupboard. So we carry a lot of items in here that can be top heavy and potentially fall out. So what I do is just put this right up against whatever's in here and hold it in place. Works perfectly. Definitely something that I would recommend doing if you also have a cupboard like this that you keep those items in. One more tip I want to share with you guys. The 2 overhead cabinets, the one right behind me and the corner one. Be careful with cabinets like these that are facing the front of your trailer, because if you were to break suddenly, anything in there could potentially, if it was heavy enough, crash against the inside of the doors and end up all over the inside of your RV. So I'm always careful with those that I'm not putting anything in there that's top heavy or that weighs a lot, that if there was a situation where we had to slam on our brakes, it hasn't happened yet. I hope it never happens. But if there was a situation like that, something heavy would easily push those doors open and end up all over the place. Something else I do to keep things from moving around so much during travel days is pack other items in those cupboards to help keep things from moving around. Like, think of rolls of paper towels Or if they're like a bag of potato chips actually can fit in there nicely and keep things from sliding around. So things like that, just strategically pack your cupboards. Think about what you have in there, what might move, what you can put in front of it, beside it, to keep it from sliding around. Think outside the box. So this is something you absolutely need for your cabinets in your RV. This stuff. And if you don't know what this is, it is like a rubber, like gripping shelf liner, and it does help. It's not going to completely stop things from falling over or anything like that, but it does stop things from sliding. I mean, I have a toaster that did not budge. I have dishes that never moved. It really does the job, and it does it well. The reason that I switched from this particular style of shelf liner is because of the holes. What was happening is if something would get spilled in the cupboard, even like using our spice cupboard as an example, maybe the salt falls over or the spice for the steaks falls over, it goes down through these little holes, and then you have to like take everything out, take this out, wipe the shelf down, clean this off, put it back. It's a whole thing. It's just, it was driving me crazy. So what I switched to, and it's not just because these are prettier, they are prettier, but this stuff here, it has a smoother surface. It does still grip. The back is very grippy, if that's a word. Grippy, I don't know. But anyhow, the top of it is a little smoother. I was concerned at first because I thought, oh, if I use this, am I going to get to the campsite and everything's going to be like on the floor, because this did not stop it from sliding around. No issues with it whatsoever. Like it so much, I used it in my storage cabinet, all the cabinets in the kitchen, all the drawers, the cabinets and drawers around the bed. Up alongside the TV, there are a couple shelves there. In the bathroom, I've used this everywhere. It is a smooth surface, so it's easy to clean. You spill something, you just wipe it off. The other thing with these, as well as the original style that I showed you, and I don't know if you know this, you can throw these in the washing machine. What I would normally do is throw them in with like a towel, a bath towel, and wash them on cold. Not put them in the dryer. They're rubber or plastic or whatever. So not put them in the dryer. Just after they're done washing, take them out, lay them out flat, let them dry, and you're good to go. I would normally do that at the beginning of the camping season because I have so many of these. It's ridiculous. The other thing I would say, if you do that, when you do that, on the back, maybe write which cabinet it came from so that you know, because some of them are the exact same size and then some of them are not. My corner cabinet here above, you would think there's two shelves that are in this cabinet. You would think they would be identical because they're in the same cabinet, but they're not. One of them has a weird notch somewhere, the other one does not. So definitely write down which cabinet you took it from. These come in different widths, different lengths. They're in a roll, of course, and I will provide a link to these and the other style in the description area of this video. Definitely, if you don't listen to anything else I say to you, listen to this. You need something that provides some type of friction so your stuff isn't sliding all over the place as you're going down the road. I hope you found today's video to be helpful. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video.